All right, another day in the books, and we've got the meeting tracker to update. This is not going to be a full-on combine video. I do want to make this quick just to give you guys some quick hitter updates and show where things stand. Here's the upcoming dates. You can see we're right in the middle of the combines. Then you got top 30 visits that start immediately after the combine. So it'll be interesting to see who the Bears bring in for that as well. Here's the big news from yesterday, though. I'm going to show, what everyone was hyping and buzzing over. The quickness, the speed of these defensive ends and the defensive tackles. So the defensive ends here over on the left, you can see some of the quickness. This is the 10-yard splits. I'm not doing the 40 times because the 10-yard split is more important. Got James Pierce at a 1.56, Colin Oliver. Shamar Stewart was a big headliner of this one, 1.58. Landon Jackson was turning a lot of heads. Princely Uman-Mielen. So a lot of guys running some really good times. On the defensive tackles, same thing. Some of these guys being pretty quick. Darius Alexander's turning a lot of heads. Ty Robinson, who I thought looked a lot clunky, but very quick on his 40. So very quick on his 40, but clunky in some of the other drills. Derek Harmon stood out quite a bit to me. Aeneas Peebles was a good standout as well from this. But then you get into some of the other drills for the defensive ends, the broad jump and the defensive end vertical jump. And these guys were really showing up. Shamar Stewart with a 10-foot, 11-inch broad jump. Landon Jackson right behind him. Princely Uman-Mielen. These guys were turning some heads. James Pierce would be right up there with some of the highest buzz, but his vertical jump was very low, 32 inches. But Landon Jackson, 40.5 inches on his vertical jump. And, of course, that leads to some really big RAS scores. And that doesn't mean everything, but we do know the Lions have historically taken players that are very high on their RAS scores. The Bears have taken some good RAS scores too, but I think teams like the Lions and the Colts are really notorious for going after those RAS scores. We'll see if Ben Johnson loves his athletic freaks, if that comes down to it. But Shamar Stewart here, Kentley Platt which is Math Bomb, who does a lot of these RAS scores, who really came up with it. He's got him at a 9.99 RAS score. Now, some places were reporting that was a 10.0, the elusive and rare 10.0. You can kind of take that for what it is. I don't know if anybody should be a 10.0. You can see his weight was not perfect, but Shamar Stewart is like the perfect size defensive end, so I don't know if I agree with that either. So if anybody is a 10.0, it would be Shamar Stewart. He's the epitome of athletic freak, but his production, as we know, I haven't done his highlight video yet, but 152nd in pressure rate at defensive end. Pass for me on taking him at the top of the first round. But, I mean, his comparisons a lot with Myles Garrett and some of those other guys that were athletic freaks that had this same type of, combine outing. You can see the comparisons there, so I can understand why a team would have a lot of appeal for him. I just hate that lack of production. A lot of you guys know I've been high on Landon Jackson. Landon Jackson, very good. His 10-yard split, though, was a little bit slower than his 40 times, so that's something interesting to monitor and track there. And then James Pierce, the only thing negative on him is his weight, 245. That's Micah Parsons' range, so you can get around with it as long as you have good moves and good, bend and flex, and he seems to have that. His vertical is his only negative, which brings him down to a 9.35 RAS score. But how important is the vertical at the defensive end position? Not nearly as important as your 10-yard split, so that's for sure. All right, so we're continuing to cruise along. Here is today. We are on Friday, February 28th, last day of February. And right now, the place kickers, defensive line, and linebackers are at their bench press in the final day of their departure. And today is the day you're getting the defensive backs and tight ends with their on-field workout. So that will start here really shortly. I won't be watching as much today as I'll be at a baseball game, but I will get filled in and I'll watch. I do it on DVR, so I record it and I'll be watching all of it later. So I don't know if I have a lot of stuff out today later. And then the running backs, quarterbacks, and wideouts, they've been in front of the press today. Team interviews and media interviews. And from that, we know some of the players that have met with the Bears. And then tomorrow we're going to get that from the offensive linemen because the offensive linemen are just getting into the mix of all there. So they're in their broadcast interviews, their team interviews today, and you'll hear more from the media tomorrow, which is when we start figuring out who's met with who. But as for the interviews, that's the All-Star games. That doesn't matter for now. Here's our updated combine, 60 visits so far, and we don't know everybody that the Bears have met with. It's only when the media asks the question, have you met with the Bears? Have you met, and then you get a little glimpse. But we don't get reported all those 60 visits. We don't get to hear every single one of them. These ones on the right, the ones on the right here are from today. something sticks out again. Look at those running back positions, Omarion Hampton and Ashton Genty in the first round. Are the Bears planning on going running back in the first round? Now, we know from Ryan Pohl's comments the other day with ChicagoBears.com that he is very interested in trading back. Is he interested in any team, even if it's just equal value, in any team giving us a, dropping down a little bit, picking up a second or a third rounder, and then picking running back? Is that a gamble he's going to be willing to take? I don't have the answers to that, but when you look at the running backs that were confirmed to have met with the Bears, obviously the one I've been very high on, Omarion Hampton, and sadly, Caleb Johnson did confirm that he has not met with the Bears. Doesn't mean he won't, but he did not meet with the Bears, so that's a little sadness there. But Omarion Hampton has been one of my favorites all offseason. Another thing that sticks out here, these wide receivers all in that third round, fourth round range. Jack Beck, Xavier Restrepo, who could go higher than that, actually. Many have him in the second round, and Kyle Williams. All good options at running back. So they have been added to the list as well. So the Bears look like, they might be looking at several of these positions: running back, wide receiver, defensive tackle, defensive end, even linebacker and safety, tight end. Deduce what you want from all of this. But there is some writing in the tea leaves when you do mix all this apart. Now, something I did find interesting, you guys know I've been high on Pat Bryant and Ricky White. Didn't hear anything from Ricky White. Sometimes they just don't even ask the question, so I don't know if he's been met with or not. But Pat Bryant, I don't know if they asked him the question if he met with the Bears or not, but look over on the left there, Ryan Fowler. Illinois wide receiver Pat Bryant said he operates with a no block, no rock attitude and enjoys getting after it in the ground game. Also said football is all he knows and is a guy whose willingness to do it all separates him. I'm just a ball player, man. So I thought that was interesting because this was the interview that Ben Johnson had with ESPN Chicago, Waddle and Sylvie. And I'm just going to let this play and just listen to what he said about that exact same thing. No block, no rock, in referring to DJ Moore.
I think we've got a lot of really talented pieces already in that locker room. You look at the offensive side, and there are playmakers. It's just a matter of getting it to their hands in space.
Yeah.
DJ Moore is one of the best run-after-catch receivers in the NFL, and I don't know that the rest of the league knows that, per se. So we just got to find a way to get him the ball a certain number of times every game. Of course, he knows he better be blocking as well, because no block, no rock, okay?
Yeah,
so
I love it.
Interesting. So maybe even if the Bears didn't meet with Pat Bryant, maybe Pat Bryant wants to be a Bear. Obviously, we know he went to the University of Illinois. Sounds like the same mental attitude that Ben Johnson wants out of his players. So will the Bears be intrigued? Have the Bears already met with him? I don't know. I know we've been high on Pat Bryant on this channel. So we'll go back one more time here. Here's the players we have confirmed, met with. Quick little update for you guys to start your day, midday, whatever. Be able to have for your day. Here's a little updated list of the players. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that. If you haven't subscribed, going to keep bringing you guys content, so do it. Keep updated. Hit that notification bell. Until next time, appreciate you guys tuning in. Da Bears, and bear down.